Hello, hello, ladies. What is going on? Just as an update, Stephen G has just checked out and my Costco delivery is on the way.
We love that. Now,
God bless. God is good. Mina, how's your fucking ear?
um, you know, as good as it's better. It was pretty bad. Like, I don't really go to the doctor much, but it got to a point where I was like maxing out Tylenol and ibuprofen, which I also don't take. Um, well, not that I don't ever take it, but try not to take NSAIDs. And I was like, okay, this is not enough. So I have some antibacterial ear drops since I have a double ear infection.
Dude.
Mhm.
Did you at least get like the bubblegum medicine? You know what I'm saying?
The amoxicillin.
Well,
Yeah, but it's bubblegum.
he didn't give me any like oral antibiotics, which I'm happy about for
Yeah.
my microbiome, um, which is likely already compromised. So he just gave me like in ear antibacterial drops that also have a steroid in them, and was like, okay, cool, we love you.
People be like, Mina's ears are about to be jacked.
They already are. Why do you think I wear these headbands? Big. Like I was looking at the video from last week, and I was like, the elf ears really do fit.
That's hilarious. Laura, how are you, mama? I miss you. I feel like we haven't like spoken.
No, yeah, I'm good. I feel like life is starting to feel a little bit more even keel. It's been a rocky month. It's definitely been rocky, and that's why I've been kind of quiet. But just head down, powering through. I feel like I jinxed the fuck out of myself too last week. And I trained abs. I got my shot. I haven't had any issues this morning. I was like on the floor, couldn't get up, back fucking throw out. So I'm like, God damn it. And it wasn't even doing anything. It was like racking the weight. You know, you just like move the wrong way and you're like,
It's that twisting that just like throws
oh.
you out of alignment.
So, yep. I have taken plenty of NSAIDs myself today. Like Skittles. I felt so bad with I had clients after and I was like, listen, I'm really sorry, but I am not loading your weights today. I can't even pick them up right now. Like, you're on your own.
I'm
Laura's
an
like over there with a little cheerleading flag, like,
Yeah.
good job.
honestly, you're an angel for that. When I did in-person training, I'm like, okay, so add another plate. Like,
Really? I can see why that didn't pan out.
no, I didn't.
I've never seen training that like I am. I feel like that's why my arms are jacked because I am like loading and pulling off everybody's weights for everything they do.
Well, I think if I were to, I was like 20 years old. So I think if I did it now, I probably would move
Like
people's weight.
kind of curs, you know,
I mean,
courtesy.
they're paying for a start. Like, I was
Hmm.
working for a commercial gym at like 20 years old. I was like, I'm getting paid $10 for this.
Oh, damn.
Literally, I'm like, you can move your weights. And then now, I would be like, I can't use my hands. I'm
I
sorry.
was saying now Mina has like little shrimpy arms. So like now it's like she could use her thighs to like re-rack everything.
I
I
mean,
didn't even realize that until a client said something about it to me one day because I'm like, I don't understand. Like my biceps are still like the most like dominant muscle of my body and I don't lift. And they're like, yes, you do. You lift all fucking day. And I'm like, you're right. I do. Like,
maybe I should do some in-person training, bring my arms up a little bit.
get paid to do it.
Like, why we're talking.
I love it. So between Mina's ears and Laura's back, what's coming for me? I'm scared. I feel like it just got
No,
progressively
you seem like
worse.
you've been honestly. This has been the only little hiccup. Like everything else has been pretty good, so we'll be fine in like a week. But I think that everything you've been having like really good, consistent, like happy posts and success, and feel like things are moving in the right direction for you.
I mean, I'm just fucking tired, but it's because of that. You know what I'm saying? It's like a good fatigue. It's just kind of
I feel
like you
that.
can feel like your soul's tired. Like I like think like I'm happy things are good. Like you said, I really appreciate you noticing, because you're right. But at the same time, like that is starting to like take its toll because it's just I hate to say like I'm gonna be 30, but like I get when people are like, "Oh, hey, like you need to start warming up properly like when you reach your 30s." I get it now. I fucking get it, and I'm sorry that I was a snifling little shit in my early and mid 20s where I was like, "Nah."
So that's really it. I think it's less age related and more accumulative fatigue. Because Josh and I were kind of having this conversation the other day, and I'm sure you run into this too, training for wellness. It's like, how many fucking days a week can you train lower body and not keep running into like something strained or, joint pain and whatever? And it's like you're trying to consistently progress, but your body, especially for me who was an asshole for so long, is like, listen, I remember all that shit.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that doesn't go away of like all the years of overtraining and, 12-mile runs every day and everything to like, it's catching up.
Now,
Yeah.
when you did gymnastics, did you do like warm ups before you started the gymnastics and everything when you were younger?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I also had like 6-hour practices a day
I mean,
and it was like 6 days a week. And our day off was competitions.
Day off.
riding,
Literally.
like, I asked because riding horses, we don't warm up. We just go get on the horse and then, like,
Warm ups was more like strength and conditioning plyometric drills.
oh, okay. So, not even like dynamic stretching.
No,
Oh, okay. So,
that
like,
was like end of practice.
oh, okay, nice. So, kind of same. Like, we both just jumped right headfirst
Yeah.
into the fire. But kind of similar with the 6, 7 days. I mean, with the horses, it was 7 days of
Mhm.
riding multiple horses. Um, and so now as an adult, my body's like, I'm very much like you. It's like I need to warm up. If not, I'm going to strain or break something, and it might already be strained or broken going into the work.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. I think that's like a great, you know, topic introduction because you're literally learning the difference between being disciplined versus feeling dysfunction, right? And that's something where the psychological side of bodybuilding comes into play, especially when it comes into prep. And we can talk about, prep and off season, if you guys want, but there is a certain type that we kind of spoke about last week when it come to amenorrhea, where it's like the need and fixation of control and having those addictive personalities where if one thing doesn't go according to your task list or according to how you like thought about how your day was going to go, like rather than being flexible and adaptable and just being like, okay, whatever, we'll go with it, you unravel and become unhinged. And that's where it's like within the state of bodybuilding, we always talk about like controlling or controllables. But with a person, especially these females, because we're all, these type of athletes, where it's like we want to control and micromanage every little thing because we think that's going to get us the best result or the quickest progress or the fattest ass. And in reality, it ends up biting us in the ass because we're so fucking stressed out and so like unnerved that one little thing, like loud noises, might fucking set you off. And so I think it'd be really good to kind of kick off this episode by talking about like the need of having to be in prep or having that prep addiction and control.
So I feel like there's a strong correlation with like actual OCD to all of these tendencies that are also connected to disorders. I
Mhm.
noticed that not so much now, but like early on in my competitive career, that when I would start getting into a dieting phase and getting leaner, I noticed that my OCD and like nitpicking of like time management, things being in a certain place, using like order of operations, all of those type of things exacerbates like tenfold. And I do think that there is a strong correlation with dieting just because, now your body's even more stressed out, your hunger hormones, everything is off. And you see this a lot with women that, I mean, I don't want to even just say women, even men that have some type of disordered habits with food because then it's like, I need to control this, I need to control that. And it's just this like forever ending snowball that you lose yourself and you lose the ability to say, okay, this is logical as opposed to this is emotional.
Right, exactly. And when it comes to kind of like that micromanage, like that is a symptom of prep to some extent, right? Because like your body goes into an even greater survival mode because it doesn't understand why you were eating less and doing more. because you were going against everything that your body naturally wants to do, like Laura even said like last week about like homeostasis. Like it doesn't want to get outside of its comfort zone. And when you are forcing it, especially to the extreme of what contest prep and getting truly conditioned are, then you also have to think about like if you're using, PEDs, whether it is anabolics or even, lesser PEDs, which I don't even want to say that, but like, people are like, oh, cleanse not a real drug. Like, no, it fucking is a real drug. Like, it has real side effects. And so even over the counter things like Yohimbine, like these are going to be working with your brain and certain transmitters where it is going to be fucking with you and it's going to be making you more on edge, right? Like, I remember a time in prep where the act of Eric sneezing, I just wanted to bash that motherfucker's head into drywall. Like I could not handle because it was loud. It was loud and it was disruptive and it scared me. And that's how on edge I was. And like you don't even realize how bad it is until you get out on the other side when you're like, finished your reverse, you're, healthy again, you have body fat on that you're like, damn, I like was stressed the fuck out and I like couldn't let the smallest things go. And I do think women especially fall into this trap because you do get more attention because you are leaner, right? Like you're seeking that external validation from, strangers on the internet, or you like the attention, you like the engagement because, there is a real phenomenon of lean lovers. Like there are people that just like to follow you because you're fucking shredded, because it's like seeing a cat in unexpected places. It's like, oh my God, do you see the cat? And it's like, there's a cat should not be in a bodega, but you see that cat in the bodega and everyone loses their mind over it, right? So it is something where also the need for control and maybe safety and structure and routine, while also struggling with the aspect of having an identity crisis or needing validation from whomever the fuck.
Mm. Like, I think it comes with experience too. Like, and I could be wrong here. I think the more times that you compete, the more cognizant you can become of like, okay, this is me trying to control every variable that I can because my body's. And so I think bringing light to this could be very helpful for someone who's just getting started in their career. I will use the word career with bodybuilding, but kind of talking about it kind of circles back to last week of, the first step is acknowledging like that it's not okay, that like this isn't normal. So I'm really happy that we are bringing light to that. When it comes to that phenomenon of lean lovers, I think that circles back to a topic I know that you guys have covered and maybe we've spoken about before. Like, make sure you're competing for the right reasons, that you're not doing it for the external validation, because then that's just going to exacerbate all of these feelings into the reverse, out of the reverse when you're in the off season. And then you're going to start trying to control things in your off season because you're not getting that external validation. So it's just a vicious cycle.
I will say most of the and I see this a lot of for people that have never competed before and they don't like their physique and they've gained weight and they feel bad about it, and then they're like, "Well, I should compete because then I'll feel so much better about myself and it'll give me a goal and something to work towards, and then I'll be happy." And like until the prep is over and your life fucking explodes because you're
Mhm.
going to binge eat, gain more weight than you initially started at, and then still not understand the lifestyle habits you need to change to be able to live in a body you feel good in and also are happy with what you look like. So let's start there. And I get a lot of pushback, and I'm sure you guys do see this all the time too, is people don't want to take the longer route that's going to be more sustainable because it's the snapshot of the glitz and the glam and the photos of the stage shots and whatever, that people don't see the days that, you're fucking crying through your cardio sessions because your whole body hurts and you just like have nothing to give. Or, the arguments you get into your family because they are not supporting what you're doing, or, like all the little things that like are difficult to navigate, and you only see that's like the snapshot of what people want to show you, but that's not the reality at all.
Exactly. Like it's funny, but it's not funny. But it's like, oh, preps is gonna fix me and solve my problems. That's like when motherfuckers and their marriage is like plummeting. They're like, oh, having a baby will fix this. Like bringing life into the world with increased responsibility and increased financial stress is gonna fix our fucked up marriage. No, it doesn't. It doesn't fix anything because the problem isn't the fact that you're not in prep or that you're not having a baby. The problem is you are not okay with who you are in your current circumstance, likely due to your past history that you still refuse to address and acknowledge. And if you cannot get your shit together in the off season, what on earth makes you think that being in prep and being locked on is going to actually do for you? Because I promise you, it's not. It's not the solution to your pain. So you need to look at what is actually causing you pain. What is the real problem? And address that. And yes, it's going to be painful. It's going to be hard. And to Laura's point, it is going to be the longer route, but it is the correct one. It is the one that is going to get you the end result of having a stage-worthy physique, a good performance and a good package, and then also life outside of bodybuilding and outside of the glitz and the glam, where you can have sustainability and comfort and safety and not fall into this vicious yo-yo trap of hating your body and only liking your body when you're lean. Because bodybuilders, as much as we like maybe shit on the general population for like yo-yo dieting, there's yo-yo contest prep. And that is
Oh,
very
yeah,
much a
more
real
often
thing.
than not.
Exactly.
I would say that out of everybody that bodybuilds, at best, 50% can follow a diet in an off season. At best.
Yeah.
I remember when I was first like competing and whatnot, and that was like the feedback I was constantly getting because, you need more muscle, need more muscle. You need to do an off season and have a coach and have a structured diet in your off season. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to gain weight. I just want to compete again. And I didn't understand the reason I needed to do all of these things is because to look better next time competing, you have to change. You have to do things you don't want to do. And that's just part of it. You cannot only selectively pick the things you like about bodybuilding and then also be good.
Yeah, like you can't say you want to be a bodybuilder and then don't do the things that bodybuilders do. Like, that's like
And
saying I want to be an astronaut, but I'm not going to go to like fucking astronaut school.
yeah.
Like, it
And
sounds
that's
silly.
it is. And then you see people that literally battle themselves to try to kind of fit into a mold that they think that they want. And realistically, they shouldn't be bodybuilding. They should be, living a more lifestyle approach that they're training and eating good and whatever, and maybe do like a photo shoot. But if they really want to live in a leaner body in a non-disordered way, like competing is probably not it for you.
I mean, there's so many good points I want to circle to. The living in a leaner body. I took 2 years off from competing, and like my walking around, like the scale's not necessarily important because I also didn't have the same amount of muscle mass, but like I had ab lines. Like I was generally pretty freaking lean. I was eating
Yeah.
whatever I want is a relative term. Like I was mindful, but like if I wanted to go out to eat or have a bag of popcorn, I did. But
And you can.
but it took me taking a whole almost year before getting back on stage to build up my metabolic stores to grow where I needed to. And it's, I see this phenomenon. And like you said, more often than not, people just yo-yo competing. And honestly, I don't understand how you do it. As someone who I have like used a prep as a crutch for whatever was going on in my life at that time. But like eventually I had to address it. I've seen people compete 5 years in a row doing every show from the Arnold Amateur. I'm talking about a national circuit here, but from the Arnold Amateur to nationals in Texas. I'm like, your feedback is to grow. Like, when are you doing it? Because 3 months is not enough time to do it.
Right. And you see them prepping, but you know what you don't see? You don't see their lab work. You don't see improvements. You don't see their financial status. You don't see their relationship status. And you don't know truly how their life is because they're only showing you that they're competing. But like their life is likely a mess. And they're likely a mess themselves.
And that's with my own experiences. That's when I see that, I'm like, that's my own assumption. Like, you don't have anything outside of the sport that makes you happy, whether that's your relationship. Like the only time you feel joy is when you see the scale going down or you see new lines and that's why you keep jumping back into that. Which again, I know it circles back to last week's topic, but it's all really interconnected. And like until you fix what is going on around here, you're never going to be the best version of yourself. And like, thankfully, I go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, like, thankfully, I found that out, and again, I'm the first person to admit I have used prep as a crutch going through breakups or whatever was going on in my life, but eventually I'm like, "Okay, if I wanna get better, like, I can't just keep consecutively doing show." And I have to fix what is going on externally, and that what led to me being able to come off of HRT because I fixed the chaos in my life.
Laura,
Totally.
go. I know you had a nuggie.
I know.
I was gonna say, I think a lot of people use prep as a crutch to not actually figure their lives out, and I very much did that. Like, I was the person that never really knew what they wanted to do career-wise and never felt like I had a, like, stable foundation between financially and emotionally and support around me and all of those things, and those need to be in place before you're going to go, like, really investing into competing done the right way, and I know that that's a very, like, privileged, say, thing to do, but realistically to, like, be a good competitor. I'm not saying you have to take drugs, but you definitely have to stay on lab work, even if you're natural, and having good guidance and everything that's connected to competing, whether it's entry fees, hotels, spray tans, suits, hair, makeup, like it's expensive. It's really fucking expensive. Like put aside like $5,000 minimum for a season to like feel not stressed about money. And like you need all your other ducks in a row to be able to do that. You can't be just like barely making your rent and then also throwing 5 grand at a prep. That's insane.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's the thing is like it usually gets charged to the credit card. And I even had a client that did it, not under my guidance, but under a previous coach. She was like, oh, just put it on your credit card, right? Just go ahead and charge your entire contest prep on your credit card, right? And she literally just paid that off like over a year ago, but she was young, right? And she had a lot of credit card debt because of it. And it's like as much as I love bodybuilding, like contest prep is not worth like damaging your credit score and like setting yourself up for financial ruin just because you want to step on stage. And like if you're a coach and that's your advice of oh just put it on the credit card, shame on fucking you, because like that just shows you the lack of moral character that you have because you are much more concerned about the accolades of your client stepping on stage and maybe winning a trophy than you are about their long-term well-being.
I think sometimes you even need the coach to be able to tell you that, to be able to recognize that, because it's so easy to get so lost in everything that you think of. Like, I even had a conversation about this with an athlete recently, and I think it was perceived unintended how I was trying to, but she wanted to use bodybuilding to assist with influencing. And I'm like, I understand you see all these people with Gymshark and Dark Sport and this and that, but like they are not going to do anything for you when you need to do all the acts of getting ready to get on stage. So like want that first and maybe that can come second, but that can't be the vice versa to be successful.
Yeah, that's not like a very strong why.
No. I can think of 2 people in the entire, like, bodybuilding that, like, really made it from, things that weren't C-Bomb and Jay Cutler, and they are all very, very, very smart business people.
Yeah. Dude, Jay Cutler especially. And like no like this is something that Eric and I do whenever we see a fucking Hummer, we'll be like, is that Jay Cutler? Because I don't know if you guys know, but Jay Cutler got like a collection. Especially
I'm
because like
sure.
before they were like paying them like in money, especially like a respectable like income. They would give away like Hummers and like watches and stuff like in the early 2000s. And like I just thought that was like a really, really funny thing.
He comes near me all the time. He's from here.
That's awesome. Tell him I said hi.
Will do. I mean, he's, like, sponsor of a lot of the shows in Boston and whatnot, and he's always here chaining at gym. Nate's girlfriend from Gym Hub and all that, right? I thought you knew her. Maybe not.
If you know, give me her actual name, maybe.
I'm brain farting on her name,
It's okay.
but whatever.
Yeah,
People
Mina,
always
what
say
did you have to say? You had something that you were trying to say, but your mouth was moving, but the mic didn't pick it up.
I honestly have no idea. Let me be so real. I blacked out a little. I do have someone who is competing today too, so I was a little bit attention tied there. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I did. It'll come back.
It'll come back. We'll circle back. But I don't want this podcast and like this series to be touted as like, oh, they're just like being super negative, because no, we're being very,
Oh,
very real. We are discussing what happens behind the scenes, that while we continually discuss this shit, like it's still not spoken enough in the volume and the quantity that is truly representative of what goes on like in the shadows on the dark side of bodybuilding. And I want to say, for one thing, there is nothing wrong with having healthy levels of ambition, right? Not everything is going to be like perfect with biofeedback and hormones and everything like that, because as a bodybuilder that competes, you are going through phases of essentially breaking your body. Like contest prep, you are breaking your body. Extreme off season, you are essentially getting into a state of like high inflammation, insulin resistance, because you are pushing food and pushing mass. Now, that does not mean we are becoming morbidly obese and adding insult to injury that we have to later diet off and push harder. But still, bodybuilding on opposite extremes when it comes to contest prep and off season are very much extreme, which is why like having periods of holding phases, maintenance phases, health phases are so vital. And yes, that adds in more time into your bodybuilding career, but it also extends the timeline, right? And it also keeps you from burning the fuck out, because while it's really good to have ambition, if the ambition isn't controlled properly, it's kind of like that one. I'm gonna quote Harry Potter, so I'm sorry I can't think of a Lord of the Rings analogy, Mina. But for all you Harry Potter people, y'all remember in like the last movie when I don't even remember his name, so I apologize, but one of the House of Slytherin, he casts a fire spell of this dragon, right? And ends up burning the entire room to the ground and ends up killing himself because he has such power that he doesn't know how to wield and control it. And he literally like, essentially kills himself in this fire flame, right? That can be very, very real when it comes to your bodybuilding journey. Is you want to do it, you think it's really cool, you have a lot of drive, but you lack the discipline, and it's just you fueling your dysfunction. And the reason why we are speaking on this is because all three of us has been there. When I first did my first bodybuilding show, I was deeply anorexic and I had an exercise addiction, and all I wanted to do was run away from myself. That's all I wanted to do. And I thought hours of cardio, hours of training, lack of eating was the best way to do it. And let me tell you, it was a great way to run away from myself and absolutely destroy part of my health. And it wasn't until I got with the right coach and got, into therapy and all the other things that I was avoiding doing, the real hard work, did not only my bodybuilding, or at least my physique, started to change admirably and favorably, but I also stopped hating my life. I started to really enjoy it. And even you guys now on Instagram, you see the joy. You see the happiness and the love. And I'm not focused on competing. I'm not focused on prep. I'm not focused on none of it. I'm literally leaning into a big bitch season. And the next person to prep in my house, it fucking might not even be me. So how cool is that, right? But it is one of those things where you have to stop prepping and stop running away in order to do the real work that needs to be done to be a successful bodybuilder, in order to have a successful contest prep.
I think to kind of, but Laura, to
No, okay.
kind of circle back to the original topic of like letting go that control and like be doing what's necessary and what's dysfunction. Like sometimes doing what it takes means doing less, like giving
Ooh.
yourself more flexibility. In the like, if you're taking a 2-year off season, like not every single minute needs to be calculated. You can have a spontaneous trip, like maybe take your food or maybe just count your macros without letting it turn into an existential crisis. Because that time where you have a little bit more flexibility with yourself is only going to, and like again, flexibility is a relative term. I'm not saying, if you have 300 carbs, eat all of those in Pop Tarts. But I'm saying you want to go out with your friends, go out with your friends. Maybe not every single weekend. We don't need to drink every weekend, but you don't have to be in control of every single moment, every single second. You go on vacation and you miss a cardio session, well, you're in an extended off season. Like the cardio is really more there for heart health and not losing it. So I think it's important to understand that like sometimes doing what it takes means doing.
Yeah, like off season does not excuse complacency, but it does mean that your level of compliance needs to be considered when it comes to not getting burnt out. So again, it's about finding that flexibility and balance for your goals. Because if you want to become an IFBB pro, then there's going to be a different standard when it comes to those improvements that you need to make. But if you're doing this for a different reason, like, then your coaching and your expectations should be custom to that, right, should be coached in that realm and in that predictability, especially. And like, I took a free meal last night. I don't always take free meals. Like, I don't really care to. I don't feel like the need to. Food's fucking expensive. Like, you know, but we finally used that gift card that Laura got us like 2 or 3 years ago to Shiki. And we enjoyed the fuck out of it. And I didn't make myself sick. Like, we used the gift card. We got a little bit more. We shared some things. We went and saw live music. We went and played chess at a bar. Like, I had some Diet Cokes. He had non-alcoholic beers, but I wasn't on my phone trying to macro hack or track anything. Like, fuck no. I wanted to be with my husband. We wanted to have date night. And in fact, I had such a good night. I'm like, you know what? This should be a weekly thing. Not us necessarily spending a lot of money on really good sushi, by the way, Laura. Like, really fantastic
Yay.
sushi. So
I
good
did
job.
Perch. Thank you.
Yes. The fish to rice ratio was 2 to 1 of
Fuck.
proper fish and a little bit of rice. As all good sushi should be. But freaking fantastic. But I'm not saying we're gonna do that every weekend because it's like $300, and it's like that's a lot of fucking money. But the ability to go out, not track macros, not always pack a meal, and just like enjoy my life, especially because I don't want to become a professional and I don't want to compete right now. It doesn't mean that I'm going to slack off, the rest of the week by any means, because I still have goals that mean something to me, that I want to show up for myself, but I also want to show up for my husband, right? I want to show up for my life. I want to show up for my marriage. And so it's making sure that your actions consistently align with your goals, right? That's where that healthy ambition comes into play, where you are controlling what you need to control without hyperfixating and losing your fucking mind, like we talked about in the beginning.
Like, I think one of the most imperative things in my life, like to my success over the last couple of seasons, was taking that time off because I knew nothing but 0 to 100. Like prior to taking those 2 years off, like, and it's not that if I wasn't giving 100, I was only giving 0. I just was giving 100 all the time for like 5 years straight, and I was a little bit burnt out, but it was more not mentally; it was my body that was more so burnt probably mentally a little too, to be honest, but taking that time away from, and like when I say away from bodybuilding, I still ate clean. I wasn't eating out every single night. Like I wanted to be fit. I went to the gym when I wanted to. Now I'm saying like if you are actively trying to get your pro card, maybe don't do that in your off season. But that is what it took for me to one get my body in position from the hormonal cortisol and all the good things standpoint to be able to make progress. But to be able to really lean into bodybuilding again without it feeling like a chore or being able like that is what taught me that balance being a relative term of like, okay, in my off season now, like I have a free meal a week. I'm gonna be so honest, I used it on a fat slice of birthday cake. And I wasn't trying to macro track it. And like I might have another meal if it's not the end of the world. It's all about like just finding that balance for you. And I know I keep circling back to kind of the same thing of like either 100 or 0, but I think there's, like, again, circling back to what Laura said about those OCD tendencies and control factors. I have a lot of girls who, again, they only know 100%. And I'm like, I had a client, she was like, I took a free meal this week. I took 2 free meals last week. Does that mean I should skip my free meal this week? And I'm like, I mean, if you want to, you can, but like if you already had plans, she's pretty deep in her off season. She's maintaining a great physique composition. I'm like, you may not want to have 2 giant meals every single week, but I've seen you eat. I know it, like I know you're not making yourself sick. Like it's not that big of a deal, girl. Just
Right.
go out with your family. And I just think that it was one of the most paramount and pivotal things in my career is understanding how to actually find balance, and it took me taking time off to
hmm
Mm.
Yeah. That's also a great point about like free meals don't need to be a free for all. Like they don't. Like a free meal, in my opinion, or at least how I explain to my athletes and my expectations is like, be off your phone, pick foods that agree with you and be present with who you have the meal with. But if we're like binging and going to like buffets or ordering like all the food and making yourself sick week to week, that is absolutely going to cause a lot of inflammation perpetuate eating disorder tendencies, and like you're missing the point of what a free meal should be, right? It should be like off plan or free in the sense of like, for lack of a better word, I guess to be normal, right? Because what we do as bodybuilders is not normal. Doesn't mean that it's bad, but it's not normal. But it is to make sure that you have some level of flexibility and balance, especially in the off season, to be with your loved ones, your family, your husbands, your girlfriends, your wives, whatever the fuck, your kids, for even that frank matter, and just like being a person, right? And like I feel like also that's in its own nutshell is a problem because we kind of forget how to have proper conversation and be present with people because we're always like with our noses in our phones. But just like having a time where you get to just communicate and talk and have fun and share a plate or eat your own meal. But like it doesn't need to be this like free for all where you are making yourself sick. Like that in my opinion is not the point. And if you are using your free meals as like last supper meals, it's like then again that kind of goes back to the idea of 0 to 100 where you feel so restricted in your day-to-day lives that you got to make it count, right? And it's like food scarcity is a very real problem within the sport just due to the restrictive nature, especially of prep, which is another reason that if you're already struggling in your off season to be on plan and have consistency for general physique progress, then going into a prep is not going to fix you or save you.
I think the easiest thing to do for if you're someone who's an avid competitor, been through this a while and successful with preps, I already know this, but have your same foods, change your portions, like rotate items so you're having nutrient diversity. But for the main, my diet between off season and competition prep looks exactly the same. I'm changing portions, I'm rotating foods, whatever. But there's no shock of, oh, now I have to get rid of all the junk because I'm going to go into a contest prep. And I think that that's going to make you crave all of the things because then it does start to feel more of a deprived state. And also figuring out how to enjoy healthy food because that has nothing to even do with bodybuilding. That's like longevity of life, health oriented, and all of that.
That's
Like if
just being a person. Yeah.
yeah, if you can't enjoy, like, whole nutrient dense foods, like, there's a problem.
Right,
Figure
right,
it out.
absolutely. And I love what you said about cravings because, like, dude, if you're having cravings, it's like you don't have to honor them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like a thought. It's like the little. I don't know if everyone knows like the little intrusive thoughts about like let's say you're walking over a bridge and you look down, you're like, I wonder what would happen if I jump off. Like, you don't listen to every fucking little thought that you have. Like, dear God, I hope not. Right? So just because if you're craving something doesn't mean oh I have to have this. Like, no, you fucking don't. Especially if you have physique goals, right? Because it's like, would I love to eat ice cream every single day? Yeah, I'm human. I'm human. But I choose not to. But if I do want ice cream, I'm going to make it count in the sense of I'm going to be present with my husband. We're going to go to Ye Old Fashioned, which is right down the street. There's a cute little girl there in high school. Her name is Haley. And I love seeing her. She is the sweetest little human being. She once told me that I was really pretty. I have a soft spot in my heart for her. I won a little duck from like one of those little claw machines and gave it to her because like I want to see Haley and I want, my Michigan pothole or whatever the fuck it is with my husband. So that's how I'm going to make my life important to me. But like it is one of those things where cravings can just be, right? But you still eat your meals because your goals should matter a lot more than a little uncomfortable craving where the little devil on your shoulder says, yeah, you should have a sweet treat. Because it's like if you're always listening to that little devil, like nothing in your life is going to change, and especially not your physique.
Now, again, just kind of being devil's advocate here, and everything in bodybuilding and your plan and your approach is going to be individualized. Something that I have done for myself in the off season, and I do for some of my clients, is well, like my plans, anyways. Like I'm gonna give you a meal plan with some diversity, but there's also gonna be like these are the macros for that meal. And I encourage in the off season, like if you are just like dying for, let's say, some pasta. Like, substitute your carbs for some pasta so that we don't get to the end of we're satiating the craving enough that we don't get to that free meal and we binge. Now, again, I don't want you to macro swap every single meal for a Pop Tart. I don't want you to macro swap every single meal in general. But having an understanding of what you're eating and how to satiate the craving within like portion control, again, I think that leads to a healthier, like when you go and get your free meal, you don't feel like you have to order every single item off the menu. Or like, I'm gonna order pasta and pizza and Chinese food and have it all delivered here and eat it in because that's what I've been craving this week. So I try to teach that. And again, it's all balance. If that's something that's a trigger for you, then maybe we don't do. But it has helped in certain instances to prevent from that, like all or nothing.
Sure. And that's where context is super important, especially when it comes to goals and baseline level of consistency and what your relationship with food is. Because, like, I'm not talking about like swapping rice for pasta. Like, that's reasonable. That is so reasonable. And, like, that's like, I mean, one, if you're craving pasta, you're a gross person. Pasta's nasty. I'm kidding. But it's like, I'm not talking about rice for pasta. I mean, I'm talking about like foods that, like, we know are going to like not always get us to our goals, and consistency on a baseline level is not there. Like, I'm not talking about like doing like the things that make sense, because I know that's a great point. I don't think it's playing devil's advocate. I think you're just bringing up a great point, but I'm talking about like the things where we are having like full on eating disorder tendencies that is having a hard time being regulated, even when like there are less rules and stipulations attached, just because of like that inner work that has to be worked out through therapy, right? So I do appreciate you chiming in there. But at the end of the day, like what you have to do in your off season and in prep, like you have to figure that out. Part of that customization and that level of care and coaching is going to be developed through time, which is why it is important to be honest with your coach, right, about, missing things or goofing up or whatever. So we're able to help you to the best of our ability, and also refer you out to, like proper resources, especially because like I know when I was struggling deep, I needed therapy. I needed help, but I refused to acknowledge that I needed help. And I also didn't have a coach that recommended it, right? I'm not saying it's always on the coach to recommend it, but part of the coaching relationship isn't just getting results. It's also like helping you navigate these things in your life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like having someone that's in your corner that genuinely cares about you and wants your success. They're going to have those hard conversations in love and respect when it comes to, hey, listen, like I see us not being on the same page here. What can we do? Hopping on a call, giving you resources, because it's like at the end of the day, like bodybuilding or at least a contest prep trophy is not worth like you absolutely ruining your mental health for that little outcome.
I would say too, the better you have the opportunity to know the athlete, the better you can make those type of calls. I mean, there's a lot of times I'll see people that get overly focused on, a mean of data for biofeedback we're tracking, or a way that we're going about their nutrition plan, and I'll change it intentionally to have less fixation on whether it's numbers or calories or whatever that it is. Sometimes you need to take that step back and not be so perfect
Hmm.
to be able to do what you need to without hyperfixation.
Hmm.
Like,
Love
that's
it.
that's giving your coach the time to do. It's like you can't know somebody immediately off the jump and their tendencies and kind of what they think within the first few months. So it's really like, look into who you're working with, give them the time. If they have the accolades and the ability to help you, give them the time to do it. And, your service will
Hmm.
grow increasingly more individualized the further along you get into your journey with that coach.
Absolutely.
I
Good thoughts. Laura, go ahead.
I was gonna say I can almost promise you, if if you're not an athlete that's like anything but a fucking robot, you should be finding somebody that's a coach that is not overly populated that can actually give you time.
Mm,
Because some of these factories that just produce pro, that's great, but that's not going to be applicable to you.
hmm.
the one where so hey, you're doing great.
Good job, champ.
Updates. Um, I mean, depends on how frequently you talk. I have had some responses like that, but I frequently talk to my people. That's like just an example. Justin knows me so well between prejudging and finals. At the last show, he like gave me zero emotion, but okay, so we're gonna go back to the Airbnb and you're gonna take some cortisol support and take a nap, and I'll see you in a little bit. Not like they're really excited one way or another. Just because he knows how excited I can get. And so, you know, like you said, someone who's not overpopulated, someone who can give you the time that you need to, and cares to learn more specific, w- like mentality, and cares to learn about
Hmm. Yeah, it's like we're working with people. Who would have thought?
crazy.
But any final thoughts or any fun questions that you guys have? Don't all speak at once.
When do you guys put up your Christmas tree?
Ooh, after Thanksgiving, because I'm a big Thanksgiving person. Because I go ham. I go ham. I go turkey on Thanksgiving, where it's like I make all the things, and I respect Thanksgiving because it should be respected. But that doesn't mean that I haven't been listening to Christmas music, because when I'm doing my athlete check-ins, I'm totally listening to Spotify's cozy Christmas jazz and just like jamming.
It seems very on brand for you. To be
You say
quite
on brand?
yes.
Okay, good. I was like, wait, am I inconsistent? That is not a word that people describe Ash Markham.
No, she's consistent.
We don't usually get a tree, but we do all the other little decorations with like pillows and throws and little Santa things and whatever. More so because I don't trust the dogs. I'm trying to eat it. So
Is that a November 1st thing after Thanksgiving?
we were going to do it actually last Saturday. And then by the time we got home, it was later. So probably this weekend.
Ooh, fun.
I guess I should answer the question. Garrett and I didn't put up a tree last year because of competing and like
Mm.
just I was getting ready for Texas. He was helping support me for that. Now he's getting ready for Texas. We also have a super small house with a super large dog. So, which I know, Laura, I don't know how big your house is, but you can relate with the large dog. So, if we do put up anything, it might be like one the little mini trees on a table where the dogs can't get to it. um,
But that's just it. You don't have to worry about them eating it, but you have to worry about them like running into it and knocking it over. Sides this morning, we were about to leave, and Josh usually fetches with Bunny for like 5 minutes before we leave, just to like tire her out a little bit. And he threw the ball, and she went running full force into one of the other tenants that's in my little complex thing's car, like right.
You're gonna have to leave a dent too.
That's what I said. I was like, she's literally the size of the deer. Make sure there's no dent. But she was so on to getting that ball, she just ran through the car.
That's hilarious. I hope that she's okay and the car's okay, though.
Everything's fine.
Good. I will say, for those of you that have dogs and don't want to get like a big tree to either knock over and or to eat, you could consider getting like a little rosemary tree that you could like put on your kitchen island, because if God forbid it does get knocked down, like rosemary in small amounts are okay for dogs, to my understanding. Like, granted, that doesn't mean you want them to eat the whole fucking tree, because of course not, because like if you were to eat a whole tree of rosemary, I'm sure you would blow, shit out your ass and not feel great. But one, you have like a little tree that feels festive. Two, it smells nice. And like you can also cook with it too. So just a thought. We did that growing up.
It's cute. I like that.
Yeah. Plus you can get like little mini ornaments that would fit better in your house to store. Because you could just like throw that in like a Christmas drawer, not like an attic,
I wish we had an attic. We don't have
Girl, I wish too.
no pantry, no garage, no attic. I'm like, they really just built this house and we're like, house.
Yeah, I
That's
feel
it.
that.
But no, our big dog, he doesn't have a dog like most cane corsos. So with his height, that thing like this thing cleared a shelf. Um, with his tail, I was like, nice. Let me thank God there was no glass on there. Yeah. Well,
That's hilarious.
How much does he weigh?
140.
Okay, so we're
Dude,
not
your
bad.
dog weighs more than me.
Me at one point, you got up, but I was like, it got to a point. I'm like, I am no longer strong enough to walk you by myself. Like, it has to be Garrett, unless I get.
I had two of those. I had two. Bunny's 105, Max was 120.
And that's about your weight, like 115 on stage.
Mm.
Yeah, so you can 100. And you are walking them both in each hand.
Mhm.
Now,
But I like snap, and they're so well trained.
Aw.
yeah, not.
Actually, that's something I haven't told you guys about, but we're getting a puppy. We're getting a puppy December 17th.
How fun. Well, thanks for telling us. I want all the photos.
It's a weird, like, you want to be excited, but at the same time, it's hard because we miss Max so much. But
It can be both.
It's more for Bunny than anything, because she's like so sad by herself and
Yeah.
not having friends. So it's more for her, and obviously we'll be ecstatic, but it's still like it hasn't even been a month. So it's been a weird process, but
Yeah.
I think
But
it'll be good.
it can be both. Like, you can be both sad that Max passed away and excited for this puppy because you're not replacing Max. Like that's the thing.
Exactly.
Like you're not replacing Max, but you are getting a new friend for Bunny. That's all
Mhm.
it is, right? So maybe those words of wisdom will comfort you, especially Josh, because I know Max was really, really close with
Yeah.
Josh for obvious reasons. It's his fucking dog.
Mm,
Yep.
Cool.
mm.
Well, on that very sad note, pet your pets,
Sorry.
love your dogs, love on your cats. If you have birds, you're weird, but I bet you like pasta too. Dude, let me
I
tell
have a bird.
one fun story. Hold on, one funny story. Eric and I were just shitsing. We were piddle farting around. We went into the pet store, and we wanted to like look at like all the animals or whatever. And there were these birds, and let me tell you, this one fucking bird was $800. I was like, dude, this bird, but it better be like delivering fucking war letters if you're gonna be $800. Like, you better
Was
like,
it a parrot or parakeet? One of those? Because
it
you can
was.
train them to like do things. That's
I
part of it.
get that, and it probably was, but then there are these other birds that were like a little bit cheaper, but as you could essentially get 15 of these other birds for the one price of the big bird, and I was like,
Meanwhile, we're like, let's
That
just go
better
catch
be
one.
like an owl from Harry Potter.
dude, I was about
I
to say, like, unless it's fucking Hedwig, like, nothing $800. Like, my cats were free. Finn was under a house, and we got him. We rescued him. You know what I'm saying? Like, $800 for a bird.
That's another little funny. Garrett used to have pet mice. Um,
Ugh.
if that's what I said. If that gives you
We also used to have a snake. That's even worse.
Oh, I'd get a snake. I think snakes
I
are
Oh
can't
hell
cool.
like
no.
reptiles.
No, I had a snake wrapped around my leg outside as a child, and I will never go near them since.
She's
Mm-mm.
scarred for life.
Dude, I have
Scarred.
no problem with mice or snakes or anything like that. Like, I don't know, like I wouldn't get a rat, because that's weird. But like mice, I would have no problem with mice.
Would you get a pet mice?
Like the little tiny ones you're talking
Yeah,
about?
Yeah,
yeah.
No, because in my mind, I would be like, well, if he gets out, then the next thing he's in my bed, and like, no.
they
He would
had.
just snuggle.
You would
Until
squish
it
it.
climbs inside your
Would-
mouth while you're sleeping, snoring with your mouth open. Fuck no. Mm-mm.
Well, fix your fucking sleep apnea, then you won't swallow a mice whole.
You
Like, I
think?
don't know what to
That's a
tell
good
you.
habit, for sure.
Funny.
All right, chicas.
All
Well,
right,
have a wonderful afternoon.
all right, ladies. I love you. Be good. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Laura.